Hey awesome people! Hope you guys are having a wonderful day. I am Marie for BodySum, and today's episode is about hormones and how exercise, nutrition and rest can affect these hormones in your body. As general information, we have about 600 hormones in our body, every single one with different function. So imagine what's going on in there. A hormone is really a chemical message which is sent from one part of the body, from one gland to another to perform a certain action. So what is really going on in there is like a whole internal body language if you think of it, and this is what forms our endocrine system. Let me give you a quick example of how hormones and how the system work. So imagine that you open your eyes and you realize you overslept. What's the next thing you do? You jump out of bed and start to run up and down like crazy trying to get to work in time, especially if you have a meeting or anything like that, right? So the first thing that you feel, what is that? It's your heart starts to pump blood very fast. So you really feel your heart beating very fast. So what's happening behind the scene is this. Your adrenal glands secrete adrenaline, which in turn, which is a hormone, and makes your heart beat fast enough to send immediate energy and blood flow through your body, through the muscles, so that you can actually jump around and do everything that you have to do. So it's really as simple as that. There are so many other functions that are going on just about in the same way, and I'm always amazed about how perfect we are and the systems that we have within us, and things we don't even need to think about, it just happens for us. At this point, I'd like to clarify something, because I hear a lot of people saying cortisol is a bad hormone, this is a bad hormone, and this and that. You know, there is no such thing as a bad hormone. Everything is there to help you function. It is true that there are a few hormones, actually I'm going to name 3 of them: cortisol, the stress hormone, insulin, and estrogen. These 3 hormones, if in excess within the body, they can trigger fat accumulation. There are other hormones like growth hormone, glucagon, which is the opposite of insulin, adrenaline, and testosterone. These 4 hormones, they all trigger fat loss. All you need to remember, in fact, if there is one thing that you should take from this episode, is this: all fat burning hormones are triggered through exercise. Now, the intensity of the exercise, the type, the frequency, duration, and even the rest between the sets or between the sessions that you're going to have throughout the week will have a direct impact on how your body will burn fat, because you need to keep your body in that fat burning mode if your goal is to get lean. And I know not everybody wants to lose fat, but most of us wants to get lean. I know that from experience. Make sure, very, very important for you to take, you need to rest, okay? And this is where the excess of cortisol come in. If you're training every day, yes, and you're training hard, but you don't rest enough, you don't sleep well, you are not going to lose fat, simply because your cortisol level will be higher than normal, because your body will be under stress. Higher cortisol level can have a nullifying effect of all the benefits you have from training. So make sure you rest. And if you're going to train, if you want to trigger these hormones, make sure you train properly and you train intensity. Growth hormone is triggered by intense workouts, okay? Now let's go to how food can influence this for you, okay? Eating, snacking too often, snacking too much can have a negative effect on your fat burning, simply because too much snacking, or especially when you're snacking on things like processed carbohydrate, crackers, biscuits, chocolates, you name it, all these things, what they do when you eat them, they spike your blood sugar levels, and then insulin comes in to clear it out. And too much of this going on throughout the day will actually prevent your body from burning fat, simply because insulin and fat burning, they don't go together. If your aim is to burn fat, try to keep it to 3 meals and have a good amount of fats with every meal, just to make sure that it keeps you fuller for longer, so you don't need to snack, because every time you eat something, insulin will come in, okay? So imagine if you're snacking all the time. You don't want that to happen, okay? So let's recap. Number 1, all fat burning hormones are triggered by exercise. Okay, make sure you train intensely, make sure you do the right type of exercise. Growth hormone is particularly triggered by intense exercise, remember that. So make sure you exercise, make sure you rest, number 2, because if you don't rest very well, you will not lose fat. Fat is used while you rest, not while you train, okay? Mental or physical is still stress. Your body perceives it as stress. As a result, it will release too much cortisol within the body, and that can nullify the effects that you have from training. So make sure you train well, but make sure you rest well and you don't stress too much. Now, food, number 3. When it comes to food, make sure that you keep your insulin level steady throughout the day. How can you achieve that? Don't snack so much, okay? Because every time you eat something, your insulin gets in to save the world, yes? So it's always, if it's up and down the whole day, it's not gonna do it, because insulin does not go hand in hand with fat loss, okay? So, guys, eat well, train well, rest well, stay awesome.